Bragel, Sweden. Hey Mark, so what are you going to show us how to make today?
Well, I'm going to show you how to make turnovers. I've only done them a couple of times. They're my dad's recipe. When I was a little kid, I used to watch him make them, and I used to be able to do the egg wash for him, and a couple of little things, and it was just a good childhood memory.
All right, let's get started.
Okay.
Now, could anybody make this?
I think so. You know, I'm not a cook. I'm a carpenter by trade, learning how to cook. So, and so far I've been pretty lucky.
Oh, you had a good teacher. Okay, now how much flour do you use?
We start out with 4.5 cups.
And now for people that aren't too savvy in the kitchen, with baking, you have to have exact measurements, correct?
Yeah, when you follow a recipe.
For the most part.
But as you get better with the recipe, you kind of adjust it to your tasting. You don't understand what I'm saying? It's like, well, you might find it's not enough salt in there, so you'll add salt next time you make it. You'll tell when you try to eat something. If it tastes really bad, don't make it again. All right, we need a 1/4 cup of sugar. It says 1.5 cups. This is 1 cup. You have to cut it in little squares. Put it in little chunks.
No, what's the purpose of putting it into little chunks?
Because when it gets mixed, it evenly goes around with the dough. If it's all in one place, it'll be harder to mix.
And now, if people don't have a stand mixer, could they use a hand mixer for
Yep,
this?
yep. 1.5 cups of sugar.
Because the shortening, does that just kind of help it all come together?
That whole, I guess that and the butter holds it all together.
Dad decided to start cooking?
Well, I guess when he's young, he worked in a diner, and he learned how to cook. And when Pearl Harbor was hit, he joined the Navy, and he went in. You know, I guess my sister was just born, and he said he went in, and he said what was scary was the school didn't really teach things that well. He learned from old cooks that he worked with in the diner. And he just said it was pretty interesting. It just picture salt.
And now the salt just kind of brings out the sweetness of everything, correct?
Yep. So it says just a pinch. Okay, let's start mixing. And it's supposed to add ice water.
And what's the purpose of the ice water?
I guess the coolness tightens up the butter and the lard. Keeps it stiff.
How do you know how much water to add?
Well, it says 8 tablespoons, but you just I keep adding it till I can see it start to form a ball. If you add too much, it gets really wet. You want to try to keep it somewhat dry. And when you take it out, you try to roll in a ball to make sure it's sticking. If it's not sticking, you add a little more water to it. Okay.
So now that's the perfect consistency.
Yep. It's starting to hold together. What you want to do now is get it into a ball.
Now, does it help to flour your hands? They always tell you to flour your hands.
Yeah, but that's when you start working with it. Right now, we need to wrap it up.
So now you're going to wrap it up and then chill it?
Chill it, put it in the refrigerator for ½ an hour or more, and it can be overnight. And you can work with it next day.
And why do you do that?
It sets the dough, it just firms it up, and so when you go to work with it, it's a lot easier to work with. Well, this dough has actually been sitting overnight, so it should be very good to work with.
But if you can't wait till overnight, you said at least 30 minutes.
30 minutes or more. And you want to put down plenty of flour, because you don't put down plenty of flour, everything sticks. And it's always good to chill your rolling pin before you work.
So that was actually your father's rolling pin?
Yes. And like I said, I bought it when I was a kid. I said it was a pastry one, and my father loved making pastry. When you roll this out, I think you want it like a 1/4 inch. Try to keep the dough about a 1/4 inch thick.
Now you don't have to have a mat either. You can have any work surface just as long as it doesn't stick.
What's good about this mat, I found it at Walmart, and nothing sticks to it. Usually I do it on the table, and it has a tendency to stick to the table.
So you said to roll it out to a 1/2 inch.
1/4 inch.
1/4 inch.
Yeah. The best you can. As best you can almost feel it. It's about a 1/4 inch now. I take my very expensive turnover cutter.
Now people could use anything that's just ground.
Yep,
Okay.
or they can cut it out by hand with a knife, which is a little bit of work.
Oh, you did
But-
some weird shapes that way.
Yeah. Well, you can probably use any size can. You can make any size turnover. You can make like mini turnovers. When you get a bigger one, you can make a pie crust. It's the same dough.
Now what do you do with the extra dough?
I roll it up, knead it a little bit, and I put it down, and we make more. I'll get a couple more out of it.
So nothing goes to waste.
Nope. What we have to do now is make a quick egg wash.
Now for people at home, if they don't know what an egg wash is,
It's just a whole egg broken up. Okay, now it's time to start making some turnovers. We'll do a couple cherry.
and now this is just store-bought filling?
Yep, just store-bought, all mixed. You could put almost anything in it. You could get pumpkin, put a pumpkin in there. I've got lemon, blueberry, and cherries today, but you can do raspberries.
Or apples or anything?
Yep.
And then also for diabetics, they have sugar-free
Sugar-free.
fillings that they can put in.
And it's not really that much sugar in this dough, but
What was your dad's favorite filling?
raspberry.
Raspberry.
And it's, believe it or not, it's mine.
And how do you know how much filling to put in so it doesn't go over?
I always put too much and it always uses it. But
That's
you know,
okay, right?
you learn as you go along. Like I said, as you make them, you'll perfect it. You'll figure out what you did wrong by it. Oh, that doesn't look right. If it starts oozing out, oh, I must put too much filling in. But I still put too much filling
But
in.
it's okay if it comes out because it's not an aesthetic thing. It's just as long as it tastes good, right?
Yep, that's true. Okay, one little treat we have. I just started doing this. I saw a recipe while I was looking for a couple recipes on just to perfect it a little bit. And I saw somebody take cherries and put chocolate on them.
Oh, well, chocolate perfects everything, right?
Yes. It's my business.
Well, chocolate and cherries, you really can't go wrong.
So now you fold them over. Press them down. Now you take a fork and press it down so they kind of really sticks the dough together. Keeps the filling from oozing out. But sometimes it will still do it.
Oh, and it looks professional too. Like you did at the bakery.
And there's another little secret I'll tell you in a second. You have to put vent holes in it. Because if you don't, the filling inside pretty much makes the turnover explode.
So it just blows up.
Yeah, or blows it out of the seam. You don't get it close enough. But my dad, he would do a raspberry turnover, an apple turnover. His apple would always be a fork, 4 fork holes. I do a little different. The cherry with the chocolate will be 1.
Now, why the difference?
So you can tell what it is after they're baked. They all look like, right now they all look alike. Now you just brush them with the egg wash. You can really see if when they're golden brown, they're done. Like I said, if it started burning, you know you had them in too long. Okay, now we take parchment paper and put it in a pan. We take them very carefully.
And the parchment paper just helps it not stick to the pan.
Yeah, it's great. before, I used to sit there and have to try to scrape them up off the pan. Okay, you put it in the oven for 20-25 minutes. In like 20 minutes, you go check on it and make sure they're looking okay and they're not burning.
Okay, so your dad was a baker. You learned all this from your dad and worked with him. Do you have like a favorite memory besides the turnovers or anything that just something that he taught you that you'll always remember?
All of the teaching, but on Sundays, everybody's seen my dad was a member of the Knights of Columbus, and everybody knew my dad. He fed everybody in town, all the cops, the firemen, the city workers. Sundays when we were doing these turnovers, it was in the basement. The ceiling was about this high. It was really short. My dad was the same height as I was, and he was short. And these couple of big guys would come down just to see what's going on, because they always see my dad's car behind the diner. And it'd probably be about 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, and the guys would come in, and my dad would put his hand up over the ceiling. There was a hole, and he'd take a whiskey bottle out, put the whiskey on the table, get some plastic cups, and give everybody a shot of whiskey. So I don't know if that helped the flavor of the turnovers
Does that bring out the creativity?
But half the guy, he'd get upset sometimes when the turnovers came out. He'd have the turnovers before they left. Okay, well, we've got them in the oven for about 25 minutes. It roughly runs between 20-25 minutes. You got to kind of keep an eye on it. When they kind of look shiny and golden brown, they're done.
Oh my gosh, you can smell that. This would be a great thing to make right before you have company, so the smell is just permeating throughout the house. Makes everyone just want to eat them.
Now what I do is I usually take some powdered sugar, and I just...
So you don't need to let them cool off or anything?
No, I just put it all outside. It makes it stick more, I think. Maybe, maybe not, but I usually do it right when it comes out.
Now, if people wanted to get really crazy, they could probably drizzle some chocolate or something.
Yep, drizzle chocolate.
Caramel if you're doing apples, maybe?
Yep, yep. Now what we'll do is we'll let them cool off for about 10 or 15 minutes. We'll get a platter and usually get a paper doily and set them up nice, pretty for your customers, or in your case, probably friends or relatives. Okay, this is the finished product. I have dusted them with the sugar. You can also take like melted chocolate and you drizzle it, which is not easy unless you know what you're doing. It's taken me a lot of time to learn how to just drizzle chocolate. It sounds simple, but it really isn't. And
absolutely. So which one do you usually go for? I know raspberry is your favorite, but we didn't make raspberries, so...
I'm going to do the blueberry. I think this one's the blueberry. We'll find out.
Okay, I'll try an apple. No, this is cherry. This is cherry. Sorry.
I don't know if that...
You got me excited.
Okay. I'm going to break it in half just to see make sure what we got inside.
Okay, so break it in half.
I got a lemon, but that's fine. I love lemon too.
Okay.
What you get? You got cherry.
I got the cherry
with the chocolate.
Oh, with the chocolate.
All
my
right.
gosh.
Give it a shot.
Am I like the test subject here? Oh my gosh, this is delicious.
It is good. Brings back memories.
I'm definitely gonna have to make these this season.
Cool. We're coming to the end.
Thank you so much for teaching us how to make your father's turnovers.
Thanks, Dan. This is In the Kitchen with Bragel from Okeechobee, the magazine.